respect is a big thing. That's where I draw my line. I literally started checking out at that point. This morning, I was actually expecting an apology from Tasha, but we barely spoke.
She wants me to be this extrovert that matches her 24/7 bouncing off the walls every day. And I'm like, how am I supposed to do that?
It's really sad that some of the relationships that should be more stable are the ones that are falling apart. I don't understand how Adrian and Tasha cannot appreciate the fact that they, with Ross, have the best guys in the experiment, because their guys are non-confrontational, their guys are very caring, their guys are only focused on their marriages and do not want to be involved in any of the drama. So the idea that they are the ones that are tearing up their own relationships is shocking for me, especially Tasha. I don't get it. I think a lot more happened, but the two of them have decided to protect each other and protect their relationship, and so they won't say, because Paul can't be that angry and just say, it's a minute argument, but I can't remember. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, it's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. Yay, we're over 800 subs. Amazing. Let's keep it going. Please don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK Season 8, Episode 26. So the episode starts with couples sort of reflecting on the commitment ceremony and what's happened. And people are sort of discussing the Jay, Luke, and Erica and Jordan scenario. Ross says she is upset that, Jay and Luke are gone because they've been together since the start of the experiment. Well, Tom says, Thomas thinks it was fair that they were sent home because Erica and Jordan were saying they don't feel safe. And it's like, Erica and Jordan are using buzzwords. That's all they're doing. They're using buzzwords that they know will get them the attention that they need. Anyway, you then have Arthur with Laura just discussing the commitment ceremony and their relationship. George and Peggy are also discussing their relationship, and Peggy is making it known that George needs to do all the work. She is amazing. He needs to do the work to repair their relationship. Otherwise, she's out the door. And it's like, please take a look in the mirror and just, calm it down a bit. Calm it down, because you are also contributing to this relationship. All we've heard is every single thing that George does wrong, but we've never heard anything that you do right, apart from the fact that you're refusing intimacy. Let this man know that you're not interested. You said you wanted to leave. You should have done a Terrence and said, whether or not George wants to stay, I'm out the door. And you should have left and given that man his peace and allowed him to look for someone who will love him for who he is and not who they want him to be. Make it make sense. You then have Erica and Jordan saying, oh, we did the best that we could. We would never change anything. And it's like, what do you mean you'd never change anything? I know someone in the comments wrote that, well, Jordan was speaking. It doesn't matter what Jordan was saying. Jordan was not the right messenger to say whatever he said to Luke or to Jay, because there was already bad blood. Had anyone else relayed that message to Jay, Luke would not have exploded the way he did. That's my opinion. Jay, I think, trusted Erica and believed every single thing Erica said. And whether or not they were right doesn't matter. The fact that they were equating him saying he's going to rob a bank to him cheating doesn't make sense to me. I know he said he could get a telephone number from someone, but he never said he could cheat and get away with it. And so I don't think, in my opinion, as I've said in my comments, I don't think Jordan and Erica were coming from a place of love and care. They were coming from a malicious place, a place of creating drama and being toxic. And so whatever they were going to say, even if they had said it to Ross about Thomas would have taken it some kind of way, because everybody in the experiment has their back up when it comes to Jordan and Erica, because of the comments they've made, because of how involved they are and how opinionated they are about everybody else's relationship. So I don't know. It's messy, and well, it is what it is. I said in my comments, I felt they should have both gone home, because it's not like Luke hit Jordan and Jordan just stood there. Jordan Yes, he was defending himself, but he also hit Luke. So the two of them should have both been sent home because Luke wasn't safe around Jordan and Jordan wasn't safe around Luke. So everybody else could have said we're not safe around both couples. They both need to go home, but they all minded their own business. Anyway, you have Mark and Sean. Apparently, Sean stayed in a separate apartment because he's still very broken. I said this. I said Mark is going to wear Sean out. And this is what has happened because Sean now has been so focused on being the best person for Mark and making sure that Mark was comfortable, Mark felt loved, cared for, attended to, that he's lost himself in this experiment. He's lost himself. He doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know what he is getting from this experiment. And I feel like this is the reason why he sort of pulled himself away. If he could escape, I think he would have escaped. It's not that he doesn't like Mark anymore. I think he still likes Mark. And this is why he's sort of censoring himself on what he says because he doesn't want to hurt Mark. But I also feel like the experts need to sit down with them and not just at the commitment ceremony. But if there's a crisis like this, I think they should have intervened. I don't think getting Laura to sit down with Sean was the right idea. I don't think Laura has that many. I don't know. It seems she is the one that they normally turn to when someone is having a crisis. I remember with Shauna, she was there as well. I don't know. I always say I prefer Ross and Thomas because they've been through the most. I think they have learned the most from the experiment. So I feel like if anyone needs support, they are the people they should turn to. Anyway, the couples then receive, messages to say it's partner swap. And surprise, 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 Mr. and Mrs. Drama create a scene. Now we hear about Jordan's obsessive compulsive disorder. We haven't heard about it since he came in and suddenly it's there. Why didn't he talk about it when he entered the experiment? Why wasn't it said all along? I said this before. Things are not as rosy as Jordan and Eric are making it seem. There's a lot of things going wrong in their marriage, and I feel like they're using this diversion technique to sort of take attention away from the two of them. I feel like they're sort of creating drama in other people's couples. That way everybody else is busy focused on what is going on with everybody else and not with them. Because I don't understand. Yes, he said he didn't want to leave his home. If he didn't want to leave his home, then Erica should have left. And they should have stayed and they should have made him, couple up with Adrian because Adrian is close friends with Erica. It's not like Erica was moving countries for him to say, oh, I want Erica. I don't want to worry about myself. They like to use buzzwords, Erica and Jordan. I've noticed this. They use buzzwords that will get them the attention they need. Because for them to say, oh, I've got obsessive compulsive disorder. I don't like to be on my own. I'll be worried. So now, if the producer is saying, no, you still have to go ahead, then it will seem like they're not taking care of their mental health. But they know for a fact that they're using buzzwords to get them the attention that they need. And you have Tasha and Paul. I'd forgotten about them. Tasha and Paul, I think Tasha was out of order. Whatever happened, they know what they argued about, be it about the future or whatever they were arguing about. They know what they were arguing about. You can't have a massive argument where you're not talking to one another and say you don't remember the argument. They know what they were arguing about, but they've chosen to keep quiet and not say anything. And I think maybe Tasha was very inappropriate because I remember Paul said, if I had behaved the way you behaved, I would be in a lot of trouble, which leads me to believe that she got in his face, was hands flying and everything, and he had to contain himself. And it's like, look at your size, Tasha. You can't even reach his shoulder. He's a boxer. What do you think? If he gives you one punch, you're lights out. So why then would you want to do that? This man has been nothing but loving and caring and attentive towards you. What makes you feel like suddenly, you are the boss? You're so comfortable that you want to create this tension or you want to create this scenario. I feel whatever she did was really bad. And the two of them have decided to be protective of one another and to protect their relationship. And so they've decided to deal with it amongst the two of them, and I really hope they're able to get over it. Anyway, everybody goes for their wife swap. Ross is ecstatic when she finds out that she is coupling up with Paul. Thomas is coupling up with Laura. poor Arthur is coupling up with Ella, JJ is coupling up with Tasha, and you have George coupling up with Adrian, and Matt, poor Matt, coupling up with Peggy. And it's like, why would they do that to him? He's one of the quietest, one of the sweetest guys. Why would they punish him like that? Oh, I feel sorry for him. And Paul is broken. I think the best person to couple up Paul with at this time was Roz. She was able to be attentive, but also pulled him out of his misery and out of his sadness. So that was sweet to watch. It was really cute. It's interesting watching the couples communicate, especially you have, Peggy speaking to Matt. Matt is a peaceful soul. He's a gentle giant. He doesn't like confrontation. And to see how he's trying his best to talk, because I don't think he really likes talking. I think he's one of those people who are just lazy like myself and, at times just can't be bothered to talk. So he's talking about the size of the apartment, the furnishing, to try and see if it's the same. And it's like, oh my God, of all the conversations you could have. But it's sweet that he's making an effort to speak to her, because I think they have nothing in common, and he doesn't know what to say to her, but he just doesn't want to stare at her uncomfortably. So at least he made an effort. I have to give him an A for effort. Whereas you have George and you have Adrian, and they're talking, and Adrian is ecstatic that George is a big personality, he's bubbly, he's coming with a lot of energy, because Matt is the complete opposite. And it's like, you can only have two big sort of personalities or big high energy people for so long. They can only be around each other for so long before it gets toxic and they start fighting. So as much as it's a good idea because George is only there for 2 days, but I don't think you would have lasted the whole experiment with him. It would never have worked. So I hope, if nothing else, this makes you appreciate Matt, because she's complaining about, oh, Matt is so quiet, and it's like, and it's like there's more to life than that. And then you have Tasha. She's speaking to JJ. She's sort of explaining that, yes, they had an argument with Paul. This is the biggest argument they've had. And so she's worried. You can see the worry on her face. I think because Paul has decided to just keep quiet and not say anything. And so you can see that she's scared that he's going to come back and he's going to say, we're done, I'm moving on. And when you see Paul sitting with Ross, your heart just breaks, because you can see he wants to cry. He's really that upset. And, at times there are certain people who, when they're upset, they shut down. I raise my hand up, one of those. They cry because they want to release. I raise my hand up, I'm one of those. And so just because he hasn't said anything doesn't mean he's not feeling anything. He's going through a lot. And I think of all the wives there, Roz, as I said the first time, is the best person to help him sort of process it, because she's been in the experiment with them. They seem to have a very good relationship with Tasha and Paul. And I don't get why everybody keeps saying, oh, she's got a fiery personality. That's not good enough. That's not a good enough excuse. If you love someone and you care for someone, then you have to sort of want what's best for them. You want to be protective, you want to be loving towards them. So as much as she can be fiery with everybody else, she always needs to remember that Paul is her husband. And this is what he's saying, that of all the people, why would she behave the way she behaved towards me? I'm, her support system. I'm her biggest champion. I'm her protector. I'm her person. And she's treating me like that. What does that mean? And so I hear where he's coming from, and I feel his pain, and you can actually see it. It's written all over his face, which is sad. And then you have Sean go and sit down to try and have a conversation with Mark. I think one of the biggest problems with Sean and Mark is when they got married, Mark had a list of things that he wanted. He didn't want to be hurt. He didn't want to be abandoned. He wanted someone to care for him, someone to sort of protect him. But they never asked what Sean wanted. And they never tried to work on what Sean needed in this marriage. And this is why Sean is seeing this as a friendship, because he's there doing stuff for Mark, but Mark is not doing anything for him. And so he's wondering, how can this be a relationship when we're not functioning as a unit? It's me being the carer and somebody just being there and just taking and taking and taking. And this is where their problem lies, because Sean says he doesn't see their relationship becoming anything more than a friendship. And it's like, it can grow from a friendship, Look at Rosa and Thomas. I'll always use them as an example how much they struggled. They could barely take pictures on their wedding day because of how awkward they were. I remember them sending them to, that cold place, and I was like, oh my God, they can barely touch one another. Now you're sending them to a place where they have to be covered and they can't see each other and be physically attracted or anything. And so I get where Sean is coming from. They should have prioritized Sean's needs just as they did Mark's needs. Then they wouldn't have this problem, because now Sean storms out and Mark is left there and he doesn't know what to do. And it's like, the reason why Sean is storming out is because he doesn't want to break Mark's heart, because Mark has already put it out there. But Mark is lost because he doesn't know what to do, because he hasn't found out what Sean wants. And this is why they're in the situation where they're at, in that they're just going around in circles. They're not doing anything to progress, just because they keep looking after one person and not looking after the other person in the marriage. The morning is a bit interesting because you have Paul having a conversation. Laura wakes him up and she's very cheerful. They have a conversation about, their partners, and then he makes her breakfast, and it's so sweet. And you can see he's still heartbroken. And it's nice that as Rose sort of tells him that they're going to try and do something fun, that way they can take his mind away from whatever's going on with, Tasha. So that was sweet to see. You had Arthur, get some breakfast for Ella, and Ella was surprised because she says JJ doesn't do this for her. You had Peggy go for a workout with Matt, and she was saying, Matt doesn't really talk that much. He's very quiet. And it's like, what do you expect from him? He's always going to be quiet. So that's who he is. What do you want him to do? It's either take him for who he is or leave him. And you have George and Adrian go, lingerie shopping. All I can hear is Portia saying, oh, you think I'm jealous of you just because your boyfriend is excited that he saw your boobs for the first time after 3 weeks. That's all I could hear. And I don't know why they got yellow. If they were trying to be sexy, they should have taken something red. But hey, it is what it is. You have, poor Thomas and Laura go to Chelsea, and they're having, this Laura says she's a foodie, so they're having this posh meal. This is all she's ever wanted. And I think she can tell that she prefers Arthur way better than she does Thomas. Yes, Thomas is a polished English gentleman, but I don't think he has the same sort of character traits as Arthur. I think Arthur is more up her street. Or obviously her worry is, how will her friends, or how will Arthur fit into her lifestyle? And it's like, maybe now that you're married, you need to change your lifestyle. Maybe it should be less about your friends and more about your husband and yourself and what you both like to do. And you'll be happier that way. Ella goes for a tennis match with Arthur. Arthur is amazing, in my opinion. Arthur doesn't involve himself in people's drama, and if he's going to give advice, he's going to give the best possible advice that he can. Their little workout was cute, and he was trying to sort of give Ella advice, because Ella is only worried about the fact that she wants someone to sleep with. That's how it comes across. And even Paul, the expert, told her that there should be more to Ella than just sex or how pretty you look. So maybe try and dig deeper and find what that is. And I truly believe that. And it was nice to see Arthur sort of try and explain to her that your relationship doesn't always have to be about sex. There should be more to your relationship than sex. And so maybe try and figure out what that is between the two of you, you and JJ. And don't push him for sex. And maybe it will happen naturally. So I find the conversation between Peggy and Matt and Adrian and George a bit strange, in the sense that I don't know why everyone is making such a big deal about the fact that Matt is an introvert, he's a very quiet person, he's an easygoing person. I don't understand why they have a problem with that. Suddenly, Peggy sees the good in George, that he's always bubbly, and yet those are the things she was criticizing him for. Those are the reasons why she said she had written leave. So make it make sense. What am I missing? What am I not getting? I want to know. And for Adrian to be this, with George, things have been easy. That's because there's no emotional attachment with you and George. You're just friends. You're just people that are sort of living together for the next 2 days. You can't compare that to your relationship, and you can't start to give up on your relationship just because you've had a few minutes of joy with George. Make it make sense. What if you had gone through what Rose and Thomas went through? You'd have left him by now. Make it make sense. At times I get so confused with people. I don't understand what people need. You have an amazing guy and yet you continue to tear him down. You continue to look for faults. Make it make sense. I really hope George is not going to be responsible for another couple breakdown, because he goes back home to Peggy, you know, with this little parcel of lingerie. She's ecstatic. She gives him a kiss, says she's going to use it, and she really missed him. And it's like, oh, okay. It is what it is. You have Laura and Arthur. They're happy to be back together because obviously there's still the issue of, you know, life after the experiment and how Arthur will fit into Laura's high-class society. And this is something that she's worried about. So we'll see how that plays out. And you have Tasha. Tasha is nervous. Tasha is worried. You can see the stress on her face because she doesn't know where Paul stands, because she's worried that he's going to come back and say, I'm done. This is it. This is the end. And she knows how amazing a guy she has. She does. And I think spending time with JJ and having conversations with JJ has taught her that she has an amazing guy. And if she's not smart, she's going to lose him. As much as it breaks my heart that Paul was upset and has been upset throughout, you know, this experiment, I am happy that he was able to sort of have a calm conversation with Tasha and also set boundaries with her, that I will not tolerate this. If you do this again, I'm out. I think this has taught Tasha that Paul is, as much as he's very easygoing and is very laid back and is very loving and caring, he has boundaries that he will not tolerate being disrespected. And if you do that, then there's consequences for these actions. And she's learning the hard way that she needs to be mindful. Otherwise, she's going to lose this amazing guy. Sadly, I think Adrian is going to regret her choices and her decisions and the things that she's doing when she watches herself, because I think there is nothing wrong with Matt. Maybe because I am someone who at times just wants personal space and peace and quiet, because I don't get why she's asking him to be friends. She's asking him to be bubbly like her. When he told her she was a show-off, she kicked off because she didn't like that, because she said he was trying to change her. And yet she is happy to change him. She's drinking from the same well as Peggy. They're birds of a feather, because Peggy's trying to change George and is pretending she's not trying to change him. And this is the same thing that she is doing. I don't get what's wrong with him just choosing peace and quiet. What's wrong with him just not wanting to make noise? They go to the gym, they share a hobby, they must have other things that they do in common. They've only been married for 2-3 weeks. So make it make sense. When has he had time to settle in? He said himself that he needs to get familiar with an environment or with people before he starts behaving a certain way. So I don't know why she's trying to rush him to be what she wants him to be at that moment. But when he told her to mellow down, she refused. If she wants, she can take a step down and he can take a step up and they'll meet each other halfway. But she can't expect to remain on 10 and get him to go up to 10 from 5. That's not making sense. I think she's being irrational, and I think she's being unrealistic, and she's being insensitive. I'm sorry. That's my opinion and I'll stick to it. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. We're still trying to get to 1,000, and click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 25. Bye guys.